Welcome to the show. My name is Vincent Zimmerman, and today I have two rock stars, Jeff and Caroline, who are real estate investors and agents, and I'm happy to talk to them today. Hi, Jeff and Caroline.
How you doing,
Hey,
Vince?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right, man. Thank you for having us. We're excited, man.
We're so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you today. So I've known you guys for a few months now. We met at the Real Estate Investors Association in Cincinnati, I think in January, something like that.
Yeah, towards the beginning of the year.
So I wanted to get you guys on the show, and I was kind of debating if I wanted to talk to you one at a time or both of you at the same time. And then I realized that since I've met you, I don't think I've ever seen you guys apart.
Yeah, we're joined at the hip for sure.
We meet about every week in our accountability group, and we've hung out a few different times at some events, and yeah, you guys are just always together, which I think that's really awesome. So I had to have you guys on the show together.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about how you guys each grew up. What was your childhood like?
Wow. Well, go ahead, babe.
So I have always been in Cincinnati my entire life. I grew up in little town of Green Hills, kind of in between Forest Park and Springfield Township. I was really, really close to my grandma growing up, and I still help her to this day, and she has just helped me in so many different ways. I went to Cincinnati Christian. I graduated from Cincinnati Christian in 2013, and then I went on to Miami University, and I studied sociology and strategic communications. And then from there, I basically just started working W-2 jobs. So all throughout my college career, I was working in retail. And I actually worked for, I would say, about a year and a half, even after college, at the same retail job. I just loved it, and I was really happy with it. I was making pretty good money. And I always hear people complaining about their job. So I kind of stuck it out until, the opportunity, I was ready for a new opportunity or just ready for more growth personally. And then I started working at a car rental, enterprise rent-a-car. And I stayed there for a little over 2 years. I made my way all the way from their trainee program all the way to a branch manager. And the thing is when you're working for somebody else is you see how much money that you're making. And just part of that, just like even before I went down the whole business rabbit hole and everything, it was really hard for me to see how much work, how many hours, blood, sweat, and tears I was putting into something that at the end of the day wasn't fully going into my pocket. And I was still being told what to do, what I could wear, certain things like that, that even now with being self-employed for now, 3 years?
3.5 years, almost 4 years, yeah.
Just
have to wear a uniform, but as you see, we wear our uniforms.
This is voluntary. But they're cool looking, and it's also cool. It has my name on it, so it's something that it's not uniform to me. It's something that I'm proud to wear, and then I'm excited to wear. And I'm not the most stylish person. Don't be wrong. I have style and everything, but I like to not think so much about what I'm gonna wear and things like that. So that's one thing I like about the shirts. But back to the situation.
How you grew up? Yep.
So I stayed at Enterprise, made it all the way to branch manager, and then I was just kind of ready for something new and different. And I'm going to pause there because then me and Jeff kind of tie in together, if that makes sense.
Oh,
okay.
So, well, a little bit more. We were together throughout most of this, but
yeah.
So you started getting tired of working for someone else's dream and started getting the urge to build your own dream.
Yeah, I was tired of having meetings over numbers and looking at the income per car even. I actually just got rid of that paperwork from the previous job because I was like, I just have to look at it one more time. And I was seeing how much money I was making them. And I'm just like, this is insane. The fact that I was putting my body in your mental through so much. And then it's you see how much money you're making somebody else. And you're just you have to really reevaluate your purpose in life.
I agree with that. Totally agree.
How about you, Jeff? How did you grow up?
Well, man, my story is tricky a little bit, but
a little bit longer,
but I'll try to keep it short as possible.
All right. We have all day.
Here in Cincinnati, went to a lot of different schools. As a kid, my life coming up was a little unstable here and there, so I went to Cincinnati schools all the way up to schools up in northern Ohio, Westchester, or northern Cincinnati of Westchester. Graduated from Fairfield High School in 2009, though. I amassed a lot of knowledge over the years in the sense of just, I don't want to call it street knowledge or street wisdom, but just life in general. I had to grow up real fast. Had a daughter young when I was 19 years old or 20 years old, and having to grasp your life by the horns really, really fast at the age of 18. I can distinctively remember working at White Castle. It was my second job ever working at White Castle. And I got the call that, she was pregnant. And I remember almost fainting in that moment. And it wasn't necessarily so much fear of having a daughter or having a kid. It was just more or less like, okay, here's some more responsibility, Jeff. God wouldn't give this to you if your shoulders couldn't handle it. So it was one of those things where, growing up, life wasn't always easy, but I wouldn't change it for the world because it made me the person I am today.
Yeah. So you were forced to grow up pretty young and face realities that, not too uncommon, but some of us don't have to deal with those kind of responsibilities at 19 years old. So
exactly. And that's one of the things I had to come to grips with. It was like thinking, I'm not the only one that's going through this, Jeff. You're not unique. Other people have gone through this before. Let's grab this, like I said, by the horns and take real responsibility and get your life right,
And after you graduated from Fairfield, what kind of careers did you have after that?
Wow. After Fairfield, I went into a lot of other different jobs. I would say I went into fast food working. My first restaurant job was Chipotle. Worked my way up to general manager, eventually worked my way up to a restaurant opener, traveling the country, traveling Cincinnati, up in Northern Ohio, opening restaurants, helping them train their managers, things of that nature. And after that, I went to a company called TQL, became a logistics broker. That was actually a very rewarding job. That taught me a lot about business, a lot about cold calling, overcoming, obstacles, overcoming that gatekeeper, things of that nature. So, yeah, man, those two jobs right there. Then after that, I went to work at other restaurant jobs, Buffalo Wings Rings. I even worked at Hooters as a manager. But I've always been a manager. I've always been a leader wherever I went. And I think transitioning from those jobs, going into real estate, taking that knowledge with me, that people skills, that being able to overcome tough conversations, things of that nature, has really helped me be a pretty good investor, a pretty good agent these days.
And I think that too, both of our experiences have really helped us work together.
Yeah.
I think Jeff's leadership skills have definitely helped me grow as well, because I'm more of I like to be told what to do. I like structure. I like a checklist that I can check off. So Jeff kind of helps me create those checklists and kind of create that order. Whereas, to be honest with you, I don't think by myself I could be a full-on self-employed entrepreneur. So I think that together we're able to make that happen. And what?
So I don't know. I think you could, honestly. I mean, I think you're more capable than you give yourself credit for sure.
Well, for sure. I think that it's important to know your weaknesses.
That's very true.
And if we kind of got into this together, and I think that knowing our strengths and weaknesses is really important as to how we grow and move forward. So if I'm in denial about, leadership, then I will, you know what I mean? Then maybe I would try to take the lead more. We might hit heads a little bit more often.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm sorry.
I think that's probably super valuable to have each other and be in this journey together. Because I know myself, I'm pretty much doing this all by myself, for the past 3 years. And, a lot of times when you have doubt and you have questions about things, there's resources to go to, but it's so nice for you guys just to have each other to bounce ideas off of and set goals, to define your processes and your systems, and kind of work together to see two different perspectives on that. And I think that's probably very valuable
honestly,
for you guys.
It helps us in every aspect, whether we're working with clients, whether we're doing work in our office. I'm able to tackle one thing, she's able to tackle another, and we get things done much quicker. We're able to, like you said, see two sides of a coin and come together and see which one worked best for that situation. So
it's constantly bouncing ideas off of each other. Even like late night conversations will be about real estate.
Yep.
Right now, there's this house in our Target area that's coming soon on the market on Friday, and the price point is not crazy. So I'm convinced that we can somehow try to make this happen. And so we just kind of talk about it. it'll be very random conversation, but I'm like, okay, like, you know, is this an option? Is this an option? And we'll kind of like talk it through. So it definitely like helps with what we're doing.
No, for sure.
Sure. Okay, so how did you guys meet?
Wow, I'll let you tell that.
Okay, this is how this is gonna go. I'm gonna tell my story first, then you tell your story after. Okay. Okay, so it was the 21st birthday of my best friend, and we were going out downtown, and we were both single at the time. So I said, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna see who can get the most numbers tonight and see how that goes. It was just a little challenge. She loves that kind of stuff. So I was like,
I was just a number, Vince. You hear that? I was just a number.
Can I
just a check, you know, just a check box.
So we go up to this bar that I'd never been to before called Igby's downtown Cincinnati, towards like, I guess, Fountain Square. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan. Like, it's kind of like a little bit, at the time, it was like a little bit of an older crowd. It's more an elegant bar, not necessarily like hip and like as loose, I guess.
It's our age now, that's for sure.
That is true. So,
I've never been there.
As we're walking in, of course, there's somebody who checks your ID, and that happened to be him. And I was of age, so people always think, oh, like he let you in. No. But he let me in, and I was like, you look so familiar. I could not figure out for the life of me like how he looked familiar until like probably no lie, like a year or two later, like a month.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And I actually had recognized him from working at the Chipotle in Springdale. And this sounds so creepy when I tell this story, but I like saw him at Chipotle, and he was, of course, the manager. So he was like not necessarily in the front line. He was more in the back. But I was like, he's so handsome. Like, and I swear I probably made a comment to I think I made a comment to myself like, that could be my husband, but like I'm never gonna. If you know my personality, I'm never gonna approach somebody like that and be like, "Yeah, you back there." Like, no. So, but I obviously recognized him from Chipotle, and at the time I was like, "Oh, he's from Miami." No, he's like none of those things. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I didn't even get his number. I was too shaken because if I actually like you, I'm not gonna talk to you. So my best friend actually got his number, and then he actually messaged me. And believe it or not, we actually became more friends first. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I can't tell if he's into me or not. Like, I could totally see me being out of his league. I totally get it. Like, he's really cool. Maybe something else is like, you know what I mean? You run as a girl, you run everything through your head of like what could be possibly going on or what could be wrong or whatever. And then eventually we went to our first date at Yard House, and I was so excited to be there. In the middle of dinner, we had great conversation. We talked about things were going very, very well. Like first he wanted to pick me up, but we met at the gym because I just wanted to feel safer. And then he drove me. We got there. Halfway through dinner, he excuses himself to the restroom, and like he's gone for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, did I just get left?
I got sick, Vince, and she doesn't believe me, but to this day, like I don't know. She even knows me. I have like a very, I don't want to say weak stomach, but I have like a.
Food was not good, to be honest.
The food wasn't good, and I have like a
really.
Sometimes. So like if I eat something that tastes kind of weird, my mind and my stomach talk to each other, and it tells my stomach that you need to throw this up or you need to like get sick. So like. I went to the restroom. Long story short, I wasn't feeling well, but I came back though. I didn't like sneak out the back like some like crazy movie or something.
But it was a minute to where like I was like, okay, if he left me, like he drove me here, like what are we supposed to do? Like next step? But obviously, you know, things were fine. Things worked out.
Of course. And
even after that, we just drove around. I remember we just drove around town and we were talking about everything that you're not supposed to talk about on a first date.
Yeah.
He told me about his daughters.
Yeah.
He told me he talked all about Zoo on Netflix.
That was a great show at the time. You ever seen it?
No, I don't think so. Zoo?
Yeah, it's on Netflix right now, but when it comes back around, you got to check that show out, man. Even to this,
it's a good show. I'm like, we should rewatch it. Yeah. But
I've never even heard of it. Zoo.
Ever since then, though, I don't know. Jeff's always been my best friend. We like he's just been so patient with me. Before we've been together, since I'm 21. I'm 29 now, and I think that one thing that I really like that blew my mind about him was his patience and his communication with me. And at the time I lived in my parents' house and I had a curfew. I had all these different things going on. And it would have been so easy for him to be like, oh, this girl's got like, you know, it's just too much, or like, it's just, I don't want to deal with this kind of stuff. But even on like, I remember I forget what year it was necessarily, but it was New Year's.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be home by 11 p.m. And here this guy is like at his home, like FaceTiming me. And I'm like, you didn't have to do that. Like that made I remember that just made me like, I could not believe that you did that for me. So, but it's just those little things, like the communication, and then like, it's really a true friendship. I think that's what's kept us together for so long. It's like, we really, like, I love you as a person, and I do find you attractive. So.
Well, I guess that helps. Man, how we met from my perspective is similar to hers, honestly. I mean, our story's not much different. I mean, I was a bouncer. I was working at TQL at the time as a freight broker, and at night I would work as a bouncer at Igby's. So basically, I was a door guy, checking IDs. Every so often, I might have thrown out in my 2 years being there, like 1 or 2 guys or girls. It never gets rowdy in there, so it's really just a chill place, kind of make a little money on the side. So that day she came through, I again was not feeling well. So she came through. I was up there with another guy. I'm leaning on the railing, sweating bullets. I was not feeling well, but I did not want to call off because I didn't want to leave them hanging, because I was the guy that did this for them. They trusted me, so I said, hey, let me show up still. It's an easy job. I don't need to all the way be there. I can just, all right, come on in. All right, come on in. But yeah, so she came through with her friend. I saw them walk in.
Like, you touched my hand.
It wasn't a stomach virus. It wasn't a stomach virus. It was like some kind of food issue, whatever. Anyways, you're making me sound like I can't hold down food. I can eat, okay? I can hold down food. No, but either way. We were her and her friend came through. They came in. I don't think they really, like she said, I don't think they really took to the place. They kind of went out on the patio, kind of walked around. I noticed her friends. She was so beautiful wearing her, like, I call it pink or purple dress. Pink, okay. Pink dress, but it's like a purplish pink, which you probably still have to this day. And I remember that dress like it was yesterday. And she walks out. Her friend walks out behind her. Her friend comes back over to me, and she goes, "My friend thinks you're cute." And I said, "Oh, cool. Thank you so much." She said, "Well, I want to get her number for you." And then I see Caroline standing like 10 yards behind her, like yeah, get the number.
No, so, I was thinking what she's doing.
Oh yeah, she didn't know what she was doing. Her friend just kind of just came over to me, and then you were just like, "What's going on?" Her friend asked her the number. Long story short, I gave her the number. For about almost a year, we kind of just spoke over the phone, text. We'll talk all night. If you know, both of us, we're not big phone people. We're the millennial generation. So you text us, you email us, you don't call us. But when it came down to conversation with Caroline, it was so easy. We've been on the phone all night, like high schoolers, man, and talk about everything, life, what we want to do, what we expect from each other as far as, a partner. Talked about a lot of, baggage that we both bring, opening our baggage, being very open with each other. At that time I had 2 daughters. So I had 2 daughters at that time. So she's, taking that in, and I wanted to be very patient with that, especially. So for about almost a year and a half, we just kind of, became really, really good friends before we actually went out on our very first date. But our first date, we spoke about everything because we had so much, I want to say history, but like so much background already on each other. We kind of just, when we met up, it was so natural. We were so cool. We walked, we talked, we ate food. I got sick at the restaurant yet again. But I was in the restaurant for a while, but I came back out, and the night was still young, and we hung out. We really connected because, like she said, she had these, curfew issues at home. Mom and dad, want to respect their home. Want the 22, 23, 24-year-old coming in and out at night. So I totally get that. So I was very patient with that as well, because, I thought from their standpoint, if I was a father with my daughters, yes, I want a curfew. I want you home at a certain time. So I was very patient with that because I had that experience of mindset of understanding where her father and mother was coming from. So it was not an issue. The whole, 11 o'clock, midnight on New Year's, not an issue for me at all. I mean, I'd rather just be with her or in her vicinity than out here doing God knows what anyways. So, I mean, yeah, man, and the rest is history. I mean, honestly, we've come together on business. We do this together full time, investing, being real estate agents, and we love it, man. And like I said earlier, having her by my side, really allows me to grow. She's very patient with me. There's a lot of aspects as far as real estate goes that I just did not know getting into it. And she was patient. She took a risk on, what I presented to her in a sense. And she really took to it as well. She has a lot of real estate background as well. So we both just came together on that as well. And that's why we're always together, because we're best friends and we do business together. So it's almost like, when will we be apart? Probably never, because there's no reason to be.
It's incredible. That's a really cool story. And it just sounds like that you both really value communication, which I think is one of the most important things for any relationship in life, is just communication with people, and making that a priority is super important.
Ain't that true?
So awesome. So you guys meet and you start dating. What led you to start to go into business together in real estate, especially?
I think that we were both at a interesting standing point in both of our careers. I think, COVID happened, and I was just ready for something new. I made it to branch manager, but of course, like COVID, a lot of rentals slowed down, travel slowed down, cities slowed down. So that really affected the business. And at the end of the day, it affected my paycheck too. That necessarily wasn't the money. I was making the most money I'd ever made in my life at the time. So it was really, really important for me, if I was going to make this decision to leap for myself, that I was going to be strategic about it and have a plan. And Jeff came along and mentioned real estate. And I'm like, hold on. My dad is a very, very handy man. So like all throughout my childhood, we would be going to someone's house doing some kind of fix-it project, or he'd be working on one of his cars, that kind of thing. So like I'd always be handing him tools. I'd always be outside. I'd always be doing something.
We had a full-on lawn care business when I met her.
Oh yeah, I started 11, 12 years old. My dad had basically the whole like block on lock. And then he gave me a few of his jobs, and it was really good money. That's why I honestly didn't start working a W-2 until I was, I think 17, 18. Because every single week I'd have my lawn jobs in the summertime, and it was good enough money to last you all year. So, nice. That kind of, I think entrepreneurial spirit, came from my dad. He was always doing something. He's always staying busy. And I think that I caught that part of it too, where, my dad kind of honestly worked for himself, but he was a stay-at-home dad. And so he would always find ways or reasons and use his skills to make side money. Yeah. So I think that's kind of what led me into real estate. And I've always had an appreciation. My grandma calls me her artist. I'm really not that good at art, but I do like to say I have a good eye, but I haven't.
Stained glass. You can make stained glass windows.
Yeah.
Stained glass.
Well, I haven't done it in years, so I don't want to say that necessarily anymore, but I know how to do it. Yeah. And I think that just like with our situation, my grandma really helped create a path for us to make this happen as well. Yeah. She basically like let us live rent free at her home. So I was like, okay, now is the opportunity. If I can have this huge bill that I would usually be paying out of, my working, and I can now save money and put that aside and actually grow something more, I think now is the time to do it. Yeah. So I think that it was really like a time, almost like, I'm sorry, but like everything kind of came aligned to where, okay, if we're going to take a chance, we're going to do it now. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, basically same instance with me as well. COVID happened. I mean, leading up to COVID, I'm probably on my 6th job of management or food or whatever it may be. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, COVID's going on. I got employees just, quitting, not showing up because of COVID, because of the sickness. So, which I totally understood. I mean, at the time, it was very, very tough working in the fast food industry, especially at that time, because we were considered essential workers. So I had to go to work every day while most people stayed home and collected a check from the government.
Yeah, both of us were working.
Both of us were essential workers. So we had to go to work, carry the letter in our glove compartment if cops stopped you and all that. So, that's like a little apocalyptic story I'm going to tell my kids one day. I'm going to blow it and make it seem like it's bigger than what it was. But it was crazy for us at the time. Yeah, man, getting, COVID's going on. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, Jeff, how can you make more money than what you're making now? Because what I was making was crap. I wasn't bringing home anything. Wasn't really setting me apart or setting me ahead in life. It was just more or less every paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. If I miss a paycheck, then I miss a bill, and blah, 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 blah. The same old story. So I'm thinking, hey, man, what can you do to where you can utilize the skills that you have amassed over the years? You do not have a college degree, but you have world skills, people skills, communication skills. How can you
leadership skills,
sales skills? So how do I utilize all that? Thinking, okay, Jeff, learn how to do stocks. I learned how to do stocks for about, believe it or not, I got pretty good at day trading, trading options, paid for a couple of our vacations and things of that nature, but started doing stocks. Money was coming in, but not as frequent as you would want it to be. Of course, stock market is, it's a roller coaster. So
it's tough to be consistent there.
Yeah, it's tough to be consistent, especially when, you're kind of just working on like a Robinhood or E-Trade platform, not necessarily utilizing the best tools out there. So I'm thinking, okay, let's continue to do this. Let's continue to grow your knowledge in stocks. What else can you do? What else can you do? And I've always told myself, man, I always look at someone else, no matter if they're like the biggest in the industry. If I'm playing basketball and I'm looking at a person like LeBron James, if he can do it, I can do it too. Theoretically, I probably can't because he's LeBron James and I'm Jeff. But at the same time, I look at it as shoot for the stars, land on the moon situation. So
it's possible.
I know it's possible. Exactly. I know it's possible and it can be done. So I'm thinking, hey, let's jump into something that it is high risk, but it's high reward. And real estate came across my purview. And, to be honest, I was on social medias, Facebook, Instagram. At the time, TikTok was very, very famous. People are on there, hey, I can do this on real estate and this in real estate. And I'm over here thinking like, wow, like this is very interesting. So me being very risk adverse, believe it or not, I mean, I have a competitiveness about me, but I'm very risk adverse. So I decided to, get my knowledge base up, reading a whole bunch of books. I read about 12 different books on real estate. My first entry into real estate was wholesaling. So I started learning about wholesaling, didn't really take to it, didn't like how the business was ran. So I was like, okay, what else can I do? Jeff, you do not have what they call the sphere of influence, people in your life that either has a home or is ready to buy a home. So what can you do? All right, well, let's start to become an agent. Let's build that sphere. So I went to Caroline. I don't know if it was a conversation or I probably just told her like, hey, I'm getting my real estate license. And
I was like, well, then I am too.
And she was like, yeah, I'll do it too. And then we had talked about it previously a little bit, like real estate or things we want to do throughout life. We always wanted to work for ourselves in some capacity, shape, or form. So we're trying to figure out that avenue. And I was like, hey, let's just do some real estate. I mean, we're big on education, and that's something we really lean on, is making sure that we're growing our knowledge almost every single day. Rather we're reading, rather we're listening, rather we're doing, we want to make sure we're touching real estate every single day, even at that time. So at that time, while we're getting our license, before we even started to invest in real estate, we decided to amass our knowledge, not just on becoming an agent, but becoming investors, creative financing, and really just taking it all in and putting it in our tool belt, becoming Batman in a sense, not knowing when we'll need those tools and when we'll need that knowledge, but we have it in a sense. So, I mean, yeah, man, I mean, I don't know if I even answered the question, but, what got us into real estate was, I don't want to say life, but just, it
was timing, I think.
Yeah, the timing was right for it. Like
COVID changed a lot of people. Yeah. And I think that was really like the eye opener for us as well, in a sense, as to, okay, like life is getting real.
Yep.
Like, it was a very interesting time to be alive and to be an adult.
Yep.
And have to take care of yourself and realize that jobs aren't there to take care of you. Exactly. You have to take care of yourself, and whatever that looks like, make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, working jobs that I've had in the past, I've hired, fired, changed lives in a sense. I've helped people in a sense. So I've always loved that aspect of changing someone's life, not firing, of course, but changing someone's life for the better. I've had people come into my restaurant, hey man, I have this on my background. I've never done this, but I would love to, I'll be one of the better employees. And I'm the kind of person that looks at the person, not necessarily where they come from or what they've done in life, because I don't want someone to look at me like that, because where I come from and what I've done in life is so much different than most people. So, I use that tool to make us, as good as possible as in real estate. And I think, I don't know if we answered the question, but
question
yeah.
Number 2.
No, it's good. It's crazy how much that time at COVID just changed everyone's lives. And it seems like a very similar story to a lot of people. Similar to my story too. You know, I left my job, my career of 13 years in 2021, right after COVID, when I just realized that yeah, I was working for someone else and building their dreams and making money for them. I was making pretty good money too, but I was never going to accomplish my goal was working for them. And yeah, 2021, just realized it's time to do something else.
Oh yeah, man. So, well, here we are.
Here we are. So what are your goals for real estate? Say like maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. What kind of goals do you guys have for real estate?
Well, I mean, my goals and our goals are very, very similar. So we have a conjoined goal and we have our own personal goals. Our conjoined goal, our family goal, and where our business goals are. I have a money goal, so I don't have a number goal of like, oh, I need 100 properties or I need 1,000 properties or this, that, and the other. I have a money goal, and it's more of a financial monthly freedom goal. And we've broken down how much we spend a month, and we want to be able to cover that and then 3 times fold that. And then whatever else happens after that, that's where God comes in. God comes in and he's blessed us even more, So our goals are very simple. We're not the kind of people that try to overcomplicate and be like, hey, I want this property over there and I want to do this within real estate.
We do have our target area though.
We have target areas, we have target homes. Yeah.
I think that's more of
within
our sweet spot, and I think those are more long term as well.
Right. So our goal within real estate is to really change lives. I come from a background where I think my grandmother is the only one that owns a home, or even has real estate. So it's one of those things where I see the power of real estate, and not tapping into that can be, I don't want to say detrimental to your lineage, but in the sense of you're missing a very, very key aspect of what you call the American dream. And I want to make sure that, whatever knowledge I gain, I pass it on to someone else that may or may not have that knowledge, and not necessarily even be a gatekeeper, but be the person that said, hey, you know what? I went through this mud, so you don't have to. So here's how you can do it to get there, to get to where I am much quicker. So, I mean, that's our main goal. I mean, every client we work with, even when we're investing, we want to make sure the deal works out best for everyone, not just us, not just the seller, not the person representing, but everyone across the board, because you never know how real estate can change someone's life. I mean, it's in most cases the largest purchase that everyone makes. So we have a high respect for it for sure.
And too, I think the power of real estate and my grandmother owning her home and us having the opportunity to live rent-free for a period of time, it just shows you the power of real estate. The fact that we were able to change our lives because of that one thing being a house. You know what I mean? So I think that's what gets us excited about real estate too.
Using the opportunity we had to really capitalize on.
And it has a ripple effect, right? Like just the fact that your grandmother owned her house and was able to offer you guys that place.
Yeah,
exactly. You're able to take that opportunity, and now the ripple effect is being magnified, and now you're being able to affect other people's lives from that same thing. So that's
make her proud.
Really powerful. Awesome. So what kind of deals are you guys working on? I know you have some projects up in Northern Ohio you're working on.
Yeah. We're working to bring everything to this time, or as far as our project up in Northern Ohio. We are part of the Ohio Real Estate Investors Association here in Cincinnati. So there's a Cincinnati one, and there's an all of Ohio one, where all the investors associations come together to kind of brainstorm on how to make the programs better for everyone in Ohio. At the time, me and Caroline, we're the kind of people that if we're going to do something, we're going to get involved. Otherwise, we're not going to do it. We're not going to waste our time. We're not going to waste the person's time. So we got involved with RIA right away. We joined what they call the CMAC division, which is the Cincinnati Municipal Advocacy Committees. Kind of hard to say, but it's basically just legislating and advocating for your rental and your investment rights here in Cincinnati in a nutshell. So we got graciously invited up to Columbus, where all the Ohio RIAs came together because Cincinnati RIAs saw us as young minds, and they wanted to get our input on the future of Ohio RIA. We go up there, great conversation, met a lot of great people. A lot of them had been in the industry. I mean, collectively, it was probably about 15 to 20 people in the room.
Yeah.
They all collectively probably have about 500 years of real estate all between them. It was amazing. I mean, a lot of them are, first generation real estate. Some of them are, I got this, portfolio passed down. I grew it. I grew it to another number. A lot of them are trying to get out of the industry. A lot of them are trying to retire. It's time for me to, go to Greece or Cabo and kick my feet up. I don't know if it was happenstance. We were sitting at the table, and right next to me was a retiring investor. He had a portfolio of about 25 properties up in it's Alliance, Ohio, close to the Cleveland, Canton Pro Football Hall of Fame area. He has about 25 properties up there, and I'm thinking like, hey, we're trying to grow our portfolio. We're young. We have one rental property right now. How do we go from 1 to 2 to 3 and 4? Hey, his name is Jeff as well. So I lean over and I go, hey, Jeff, are you looking to, sell your properties? And he said, oh yeah, I'm trying to get them sold. Me and my wife want to try to get these off our books so we can, here in Greece. Of course, the whole room laughed because apparently he's never going to retire because he works every single day. He's been saying that a long time. Even to this day, he hasn't retired. He probably even has more properties now. Yeah, so I got his information. I said, Jeff, are you open to seller financing? Seller financing in a nutshell is basically where the owner of the property finances the down payment and finances the property for you, as opposed to going to the bank. You can go to the seller and say, hey, can you finance this for me? I pay you set amount of fees every month instead of a mortgage. So he was open to that. I said, okay, great. In a lot of cases, seller finance is something that the seller needs to be in a very good position to offer, because in most cases they have a mortgage on those properties. Well, Jeff didn't have any mortgages on his property, so we didn't have to worry about any payoffs or any high numbers. He was gracious enough to send me the entire portfolio. Well, actually, he sent me 12 properties at first. I said, okay. He said, these are the properties that I'm trying to get sold real quick. What do you think of these? Ran the numbers. It was about 2 months of running numbers, communicating back and forth with him, gathering information, utility information, as much information about the properties as possible. Because keep in mind, we live in Cincinnati, and these properties are about almost 400 miles, 250 miles away. 4 hours away. Sorry, 4 hours away, 250 miles away. So yeah. It was we were going from our first deal, which is less than a mile away from where we stay now. You can walk to it. To our second deal, which is 250 miles away. So it's crazy how things work out. But I felt very confident at the time because, like I said before, we wanted to have as much knowledge in our tool belt, not knowing when we'll necessarily need that knowledge. But when we need it, we will be able to pull it out and say, hey, I know how to do seller finance. I know how to run numbers on properties. I know how to present deals. I know how to draw deals. Have I done it before? Yes, I've done it one time before. Have I done it for 25 properties? I have not, but I'm going to do it. So we're going to figure it out. So Caroline was running numbers with me. She's calling utility companies, getting the information on all the properties. Long story short, man, we're working on a portfolio of 25 properties up in Alliance, Ohio. The owner is gracious enough to allow us to snowball these off of his portfolio. So that way we don't have to take title on all the properties at one time. We just have a written agreement that we're, first right of refusal on all these properties. And we've been working on them ever since. Right now we're working on our first property with him up there in Alliance called Big Blue. You can go to cartiercampbell.com or our social media to see our progression on that. And we're very excited with that, man. And we got a couple deals going on down here as far as real estate agentry work goes. We got 2 listings, 1 pending, another one we're trying to get sold. But we've been doing this for about 3 years now, and we really love where we are right now and all the things we're learning and taking in and doing. It's great. It really is.
Wow, that's an incredible opportunity that you came across, and it just kind of just shows the power of networking and putting yourself out there and being around like-minded people that can present opportunities like that, and it's really incredible. So yeah, good luck with that project and 25 deals, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, we're excited. Yeah, we're gonna be up there a lot.
Have you considered relocating up there so you're not driving back and forth?
No, not necessarily. I mean, we love the area. It's very nice. It kind of reminds us a lot of Cincinnati, but we love Cincinnati, man. We love where we are. Yeah. We always talk about, like, if we were to move, we have to be very, very strategic about that because we love our city. We love where it is geographically, the weather, the people, the growth rate. I mean, I think Cincinnati and this area is one of the largest investment areas in the nation right now. So, I mean, why leave?
That's true. Yeah, it is a great area for all those reasons you mentioned. So, okay. So what are some of the lessons you've learned during your time in real estate that you now apply to your life or to business, or any lessons in general that you've learned?
Well,
I think patience.
Patience, yes.
It's always being tested.
Yes.
Working with clients, technology with some clients can be very challenging. And also too, I think patience in the sense of when we try to educate, I think realizing that sometimes people don't want to hear what you have to say, or don't want to learn. At the end of the day, they don't want to necessarily learn the ins and outs. They just want to own a home.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of our passions is education. So we always try to read the room and kind of drop gems when we can.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, one of the biggest lessons I've learned, like she said, is patience, but also I would say resilience, I guess. You come across a lot of I want to say interesting characters in real estate, but you do. A lot of people that's been doing this for a very, very long time. Some people haven't been doing this very long at all, but no matter who you're interacting with, just, respecting everyone's position or where they are, because you were in the beginning at some point, and then you'll be 20, 30 years into it as well. So just having that, that resilience of, okay, I may be, being disrespected by someone, or maybe, having a disagreement with someone, but understanding the big picture. And the big picture is either we're representing a buyer as getting them this property or getting them that property, or if we're representing a seller, our goal is to sell this property, set our emotions aside, and work on the behest of the actual client. I mean, that's our job as fiduciaries, is actually set aside our differences, our emotions, everything is for the client. So I mean, and that may be lost a lot in our industry, but we try to stand by it as much as we can, for sure.
And I think too, another lesson is you're never done learning either. Yeah. Real estate is always changing. You hear new things coming down the pipe all the time. NAR settlements, new legislation, new rules, regulations.
Yeah.
No Airbnbs here, or you have to pay tax, or there's always something new. Yeah. So I think that you always have to have the attitude of you're never done learning too. Yeah. You have to really be interested in real estate, I think, to really stick with it.
Yeah. Like I said before, every single day we touch real estate. Rather we're reading, we're listening, we're doing, we have to make sure we're touching real estate, because like you said, it changes every day. Interest rates now are more
way different than what we started.
Yeah, they're way different than what we started, and more cyclical than what we started. I mean, at first it was a very quantifiable number. Now every single day it's fractional points difference, which makes a huge difference in a lot of people's buying power and affordability. So having that knowledge, having the knowledge of the areas, you may go from one street to another street. You live in Cincinnati, you go from one street to another. That should be worth millions, and the other street may be worth only 100,000, but they're right next to each other. And why, we don't know, but that's the market. So we try to, like you said, I mean, just touch real estate every single day and just be in it.
Yeah, I think that's so important to always be in a learning mindset and a growth mindset, because the second you stop learning, the second you stop trying to improve, then you're just declining. You're getting worse. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And definitely always.
But not only with, I'm just going to my mind, but not only with our property we're working on in Alliance, so not only did we have to kind of figure out and then adjust, kind of led the way with like the seller financing and like putting the note together and things like that. That was a lot of learning, but also too, like the physicality of the learning as well is like, okay, we painted the whole house in like 2 days.
Yeah.
And you should see the first room Jeff and I painted together. You'd be like,
it's our bedroom, which is in the other room over there.
There's so many rolls to the ceiling. So
my cut in is not, it's better now.
No, but I cut in.
Oh yeah, you cut in. My roll. It's whatever.
Yeah. but also too, like there's so much money associated with that too. Like we're doing so much more, it sounds kind of stupid, but research. Like, okay, like what are the best tools? You learn, like really it's like the tools that you have. If you invest in the right tools, you can go so much further and so much quicker.
Oh, yeah.
So
when we got a drill, it changed our lives, man. But you just don't know, man. Like before we were working with hand tools, man. Like we had properties.
Yeah, our first rental property, we were doing screwdrivers to take on and off and change the door.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean the wrist work associated with that. I mean, good Lord. Now, just a simple change from a screwdriver to a power driver tool is an automatic driver tool is like it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know you guys really do your research. I mean, you came over to help me do flooring one day just so you could learn how to do flooring. So you both came over, spent a whole day with me doing flooring, and now you guys know how to do flooring. So that's that's the only way to learn.
And you were very patient.
We chipped whatever. Yeah, thank you so much, man. Seriously.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so let's move on. On this podcast, I like to talk about investing in all different aspects of life. So I like to know what you guys are investing in. I know what you're investing in real estate, but what other investments are you making in your lives that you plan to have an improvement in your future lives? Like, so financially, physically, spiritually, what kind of skills or relationships are you investing in? Talk to me about those kind of investments that you're making in your lives that.
I think right now one of my biggest goals is getting ourselves into position. I want to have kids soon. And so I think that's one of my biggest drivers is making sure we hit our monthly financial goal to where I can be more of a stay-at-home mom. Obviously, real estate's never going to turn off for me at all in any way, shape, or form. But I just want to have more time to set aside for family. And I think that you agree too.
Yeah.
Even spending time with the girls now, we always try to pull them into real estate in some way, shape, or form when they're with us. And I know it might not always be fun, but we listen to so many different podcasts and have met so many different people in real estate with children. And I think that it has a huge influence on them. And I hope that it just touches them in some way, shape, or form. Not saying that to become real estate agents at the age of 18 or anything like that, but hopefully they can just be inspired and just see what we do and want a part of that in some way, even if that means them becoming, an interior designer or a landscaper or, an HVAC specialist. You know what I mean? There's just so many avenues that touch real estate. And I think that real estate is something that's never going to go away. We all need roofs over our heads. So I think that that's one of the more, I want to say secure jobs, but it is in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, I have a saying, he who owns land owns a man. And that sounds a little dark, but it's more of a, if you own the land, you own the movement, you own what they can do. It's a saying as old as time. I mean, it goes back to the Crusades. It goes back to how this country was founded. I mean, you got to take what you want out of this world. And we got into real estate because of one of that reason. We know that real estate is one of the more secure things. It's very risky. It's a high risk, high reward, but it's very, very secure in a sense of it's not going anywhere. They're not building more earth. They're not building more land. They may build more computer chips and whatever it may be for the stock market, but I love real estate for the simple fact that it's finite, and that's one of the bigger things. But to go back to your question, actually, what was your question again? I'm so sorry.
What type of investments are you making? Maybe I know you were investing in real estate, but what other types of investments in your life in general are you making now?
One of the biggest things in our lives is fitness. We work out almost every single day. We believe that having a strong body and having a strong mind will push you a lot further than just determination or want to or even know how, because I've come across a lot of people that know how, they want to do it, but they're not doing it. Rather, it's just sheer physical ailment or mental, I don't want to say slowfulness, but just not there mentally to grasp the knowledge or whatever it may be. So mental clarity. So my big thing is we work out every day, man. We go to the gym and right after this podcast, we're gonna go get a workout in. We mix it up. Caroline has really taken to it. She's always, that's one of the things that grew us together in our relationship in the beginning is us going to the gym almost every single day. It was something that was free. It was cheap. Well, I won't say free, but it was cheap. Yeah. So we just say, hey, let's go work out. We don't have to always go out and get drinks. We don't drink. We don't do none of that stuff. So what can we do? What can we do together that will save us money in our pocket, but also better ourselves? Hey, let's go to the gym. I mean, I was working out before her. I did sports in high school and things like that, of course, but it really, really took on another face when we got into it together because like you said, we do everything together. So we're working out, we're doing our business, we're growing our lives, we're best friends. I mean,
one of the things too is when I was working 12-hour days, and it was really hard for me to get into the gym. And even though it felt like I was running around all day long, I actually gained quite a bit of weight at my job. And I told myself too, that was another reason why I was ready for a change, is because I saw kind of like the path that I was headed down, and I was just like, this is not Caroline, this is not me. And so I told myself, if I take this leap of faith with my being self-employed, that means I have time to work out. So there's no excuse. There's no reason why I can't show up. I can, you can fit it in your 24-hour day. So I told myself, if I'm going to do this, then I have to do A, B, and C too. So and one of those was the gym.
Yeah.
And it took about 1.5 years, almost 2 years for me to get the weight off. But it makes a big, big difference in just your overall feeling every day and your self-esteem and feeling comfortable in your own skin again. So yeah. I think that, and then also too, we're really into I don't say supplements, but we're really into vibrant health products where Jeff takes greens more religiously every single day. And I've been trying to be more better about taking, I call them my yellows, but they're more of
it's glucosamine basically for your joints.
For your joints, but it makes a big difference, and also too in your skin. So we like to invest in our health. So if that means health supplements, things like that we know make a difference in our lives, we'll do it.
Yeah. That's awesome. I couldn't agree more. I think investing in your health is one of the most important investments that you can make, and it benefits you in way more ways than you can even imagine. Of course, you're gonna feel stronger and feel a little better physically, but you're also gonna feel so much better mentally. Your self-esteem, your mental clarity. It just provides so many benefits that are gonna just magnify the rest of your life.
That's true, man. If you look at your body like a car, which I look at my body like a car, my nose is the intake. You got to make sure you're taking in the air so you can get the oxygen or the air to your engine so the combustion can go and all that. So I look at my body like a car. I want to make sure I'm servicing every part. And like you said, man, it helps you more than just physical. It gives you that mental clarity, time to really, really think about things, to come to some conclusions while you're on the treadmill, while you're pumping iron, whatever it may be. I mean, it's changed our lives big time.
And then one more thing, Vince, about the question you asked it too about relationships. And I think that I just want to touch real quick on that, because I think that being self-employed and taking a leap on yourself is not everyone's cup of tea. Personally, I've lost quite a few friendships from being self-employed, just on this journey of real estate in general. It's it can be a lonely road.
Yeah.
And I think that right now we're looking for like-minded, passionate people who understand what we're going through. It's hard to find those people who get what you're doing, maybe get the risks that you're taking, and can have conversation. I think that's what we love. We also too are an accountability group together, Vince, and I think that just that alone too, just talking to people who are on kind of similar paths is very, very powerful and very motivating. So I think that's something that's very important to invest in too, is your relationships, and understand that sometimes people come and go, but everything happens for a reason. I am a very firm believer of that. So I just wanted to end with that there.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I wanted to touch on that too, that it's just being around like-minded people that have the same vision or similar vision as you is so valuable.
Yeah.
So I appreciate having you guys to talk to every week, to bounce ideas off of, and just really glad that we got to know each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For sure.
Awesome. On that note, let's see. Who are some of the people that have inspired you along the way?
Wow.
Man, as I'm 33 now. So as a 33-year-old Black man here in America, I try to take in a lot of different traits from different people to compile myself as a man in a sense. So because I didn't grow up with a father, as a sense. My mom was a single mother my entire life for the most part. She was married to my stepdad before, but it wasn't very long. So I had to grow up, like I said, I grew up real fast, and the influences in my life are simple. I mean, I look at someone like, let's just say, very well-known person like LeBron James. I look at LeBron James's leadership and the way he carries himself on and off the court, at least from my perspective. That's a person that I want to be like. And then I look at another person on the other side of that coin, and this may sound controversial, but I look at a person like Donald Trump, and I'm like, this guy is so charismatic and so confident in what he's portraying and what he's doing. I want to be like that as well. So it's like I don't know if I can narrow it down to just one single person. I mean, I can look at another person like a Robert Kiyosaki from, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I mean, I'd have never met the guy, never had a conversation with him. Oh yeah, we got it on our shelf too, man. I mean, it's considered a Bible in this house, but I don't know. I mean, I can't narrow it down to one person, but I compile it from a bunch of different people and make my own transformer, I guess. I don't know.
I agree. I feel like even from as a small child, I've always been that way. I find traits in people that I like, and I'm like, wow, I want to be like that. I remember like just people being nice to me. I was like, wow, she was so nice. Like, I just want to be like that. If I could be like that to somebody else and make them feel that way, like I want to do that. So I don't know. I think that in life you meet so many people, especially the kind of jobs that God, you're so in and out with people. Yeah. But there's like some just small interchanges that you can have with somebody where you're like, oh, they impacted your day. Like they always say, like, if you have a compliment to give it, because you don't know like what that person's going through that day. And I think that that's so important because that's how this world goes around. There's so much negativity every single day if you just watch the news. But every day, human interactions don't have to be that.
Yeah, and that's getting lost in in today with technology. I mean, the human to human interaction is out the window. Yeah. Everyone's texting. Even with us right now, we're not together in person. We of course know each other and met each other in person, but even right now, we're over Zoom. We're utilizing technology, but in a lot of ways, it has became a barrier in communication and a barrier in that person to person. And we try to like put that down as much as possible. Hey, let's meet, let's talk. Don't just text me. Call me if you need help. I will call you, and that's our biggest thing is being in front of people.
Awesome. Okay, what are you guys excited about for the future?
Well, I'm very excited because me and Caroline were, of course, looking to get married very, very soon. We've been talking about this for a very, very long time. I mean, I can't even go into it, but it's gonna make me choke up. But she deserves the world for me, and I'm determined to give that to her. And that's our future right now. I mean, we're just kind of focusing on babies, coming together as a family, forming our family, building our a sphere of influence. I mean, we both feel like we've amassed so much knowledge and so much information over the years from each other, with each other, that we almost have to have this knowledge passed down to our children, passed down to my daughters, her daughters, and making sure that that's something that we're trying to push right now. Just making sure our family is staying together and staying straight and staying in that straight line, and that's our biggest goal right now, just coming together.
For sure, we're really excited about the future.
Yeah. And travel. We definitely want to travel a lot. That's we've
been on like little weekends, little weekend getaways, really, like, but it's always for somebody else. It's like for like someone's birthday or it's a little family trip or something like that. But we've never actually been on a vacation like just us. Yeah. So like I think that's one of our biggest goals is like I just want a week.
Yeah, so we can go somewhere and just be together, experience new things. We're not the kind of people that just want to go to cookie cutter places. We want to do new stuff. We want to
go hiking. I want to go parasailing.
All that kind of stuff. I mean, skydiving. So
if you're weight.
Yeah, if they can hold me. But that's one thing I worry about. I'm like 260, and I'm like, I want to skydive, but like I don't know if they can hold me. But either way, we'll cross that bridge.
Oh, it'll hold you. I've done skydiving a few times.
Man, look.
Dang, we'll have to come to you before we go.
I'm not excited to do it again though. I've done it I think 8 times in my life, and I think I'm good.
Oh.
Yeah.
I bet you're not that excited. You've done it enough.
All right, Vince's podcast. Now you know something new about Vince.
Yeah. He's a freaking paratrooper.
Right.
I think it's been over 10 years since I've done it. I just had like a small phase. I did it 8 times in probably like 6 months, and then I was like, I'm good.
Damn, dude, that's amazing though. Yeah, I mean, 1 time is probably good enough for me. I just want to do it.
I think I'm gonna black out, but it's all good.
You should do it. You should do it.
On our list for sure.
Awesome, guys. Well, let's start to wrap it up here. what's the best way for people to connect with you? I see you have your website posted there, so that's a good way.
Yep. Get our website, all social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn,
It's Cartier Campbell
Pinterest.
Realty Group
Cartier Campbell Realty Group.
on everything.
On everything, man. So reach out to us if you guys need any assistance. And we don't charge money for stupid stuff like just giving me a simple phone call and picking my brain for some knowledge about something. I'm more than happy to help any and everyone out. Call us anytime, text us, email us. We're happy to help.
Awesome, guys. Well, it's really awesome talking to you today. You guys are super inspiring, and I'm just glad I'm got to know you, and looking forward to continuing to get to know you and seeing how you guys progress.
Hell yeah, man. We'll see you tomorrow on accountability, right?
Sounds good. We'll see you then.
All right, man.
Take
See
care,
you, man.
Vince.